Every morning he turned on the espresso machines at the same time, ground the same fresh beans, steamed milk to the same perfect temperature. David's coffee shop was the most peaceful place in the city. Coffee aromas, soft music, customers working on their laptops. Until that morning, when armed robbers walked through the door, and everyone learned that David's hands didn't just know how to make the perfect latte, but much more deadly things as well. Every story you're about to hear was earned, not given. Welcome to Earned Stories. Tell us in the comments which city you're watching from, and if you believe stories of invisible warriors like David deserve to be told. Don't forget to subscribe. Morning Brew Coffee was Portland's most beloved coffee shop. Small but warm, with wooden tables, vintage posters, and natural light streaming through the windows. The same customers came every morning, ordering the same drinks. David Miller was 45 years old, owner and sole barista. He'd been running this shop for 5 years. Medium height, brown hair, calm eyes, always wearing a clean apron. Customers loved him. He remembered their names, memorized their orders, engaged in friendly conversation. He opened at 7 a.m., closed at 6 p.m. Sarah, a lawyer, came every morning at 7:15 for a double espresso. Mike, a student, at 8 o'clock for iced coffee. Linda, a mother, at 9 o'clock for a decaf latte. David knew them all. Listen to their lives. David doesn't just make coffee. He's like part of our family, Linda would say. On my bad days, his smile fixes everything. But no one knew David's past, where he came from, why he settled in Portland, what he did before coffee. When these questions came up, David would smile and say, "I always wanted to be a coffee maker." David's coffee shop had a small office in the back. Reports, invoices, normal business documents. But in the bottom drawer of the filing cabinet, in a locked box, were different documents. None belonged to David Miller, coffee shop owner. They all belonged to Sergeant David Miller, Portland Police SWAT Team. 10 years ago, David had lived a very different life. He was the most experienced operator on the SWAT team. For 18 years, he handled hostage situations, armed robberies, high-risk warrants. David, nicknamed Phantom, never missed, always stayed calm, was the team's most trusted man. Retirement came with trauma. He'd seen too much violence, pulled the trigger too many times. PTSD, burnout, searching for human connection. Doctors recommended a peaceful environment, suggested stress-free work. A coffee shop seemed like the perfect choice. For 5 years, his mask had been perfect. No one suspected David's past. Everyone saw him only as the gentle coffee maker. But that Tuesday morning, at 8:47 a.m., the mask would come off. David was working at the espresso machine. The shop was in its normal morning rush. Sarah was reviewing cases on her laptop. Mike was reading his textbook. Linda was rocking baby Emma in her stroller. A peaceful Tuesday morning. The door opened. 3 men entered, casually dressed, but David's trained eyes immediately noticed concealed weapons, tactical movement, professional posture, but there was no threat yet. "Good morning," David said. "What would you like to drink?" The first man, the leader, approached the counter. "How much money is in the register?" David's internal alarm system activated. Voice, tone, body language, positioning. Robbery in progress. "There's not much money in the register," David said calmly. "Maybe $200. Is there a safe?" "No. Small business. I don't keep much cash." The second man locked the door and flipped the closed sign. The third man went to the customers. "Everyone put your phones on the table. Don't move." Sarah shakily put down her phone. Mike was frozen, staring. Linda was trying to protect her baby. David was conducting situation assessment. 3 hostels, small confined space, civilians in crossfire zone, limited escape routes. Classic hostage scenario. "I'll give you the money," David said. "Don't hurt anyone." The leader pointed his gun at David. "I said, where's the safe?" "There really isn't one. I'm a small coffee shop. I make daily deposits at the bank." "You're lying." The second man became aggressive, approaching Mike. "I'll shoot this kid." David's 18 years of SWAT training quietly activated. Threat assessment, tactical options, civilian protection protocol. But it wasn't time to take action yet. Okay, David said. "There's a small safe in the back office. I'll show you." The leader smiled. "That's better. You and I are going to the back. The others stay here." As David was led to the back office, his mind was formulating a plan. Confined space, single hostile, element of surprise, classic SWAT scenario. In the back office, David opened the filing cabinet and pulled out the box from the bottom drawer. But there was no money in the box. "What's this?" the leader asked. David opened the box. Inside was old SWAT gear, radio, tactical knife, and most importantly, his service weapon. "I'm David Miller," David said, the gentle tone of the coffee shop owner gone from his voice. "Portland Police SWAT, 18 years active duty." The leader was surprised but had his gun pointed at David. "You're bluffing." David moved. Lightning fast, 18 years of muscle memory. He controlled the leader's gun hand, applied a disarm technique with his other hand. Within 3 seconds, the leader was unconscious on the floor. David grabbed the radio, tuned to the old frequency. "This is Phantom. Officer needs assistance at Morning Brew Coffee. Multiple hostiles, civilians in danger." In the front, the second hostile became suspicious of David's silence. "Hey, what's happening back there?" David emerged from the back office, but he was no longer the gentle barista. He was in SWAT mode. Tactical thinking, threat elimination priority. The second man saw David and pointed his gun at him. "Where's the boss?" "Sleeping," David said. The man tried to fire, but David was too fast. He dove behind the coffee counter, then approached from the side. The espresso machine provided cover. David jumped over the counter, tackling the second man. Very hard, very precise. The man's gun flew through the air. Both fell to the ground. David applied a chokehold. 8 seconds later, the man was unconscious. The third man panicked and tried to use the customers as threats. He grabbed Linda, pressing his gun to her head. "Back off. I'll shoot this woman." David put his hands up but continued approaching. "Calm down. Nobody needs to get hurt." "I said back off." David used his hostage situation training. Eye contact, calm voice, distraction technique. "What's your name?" David asked. "What? Your name. Let's talk." The man was confused. "Marcus. Marcus, you came here for money, not for violence. Let the woman go. Let's talk about money." Marcus's grip loosened slightly. David was waiting for this moment. Lightning move. David pushed Marcus's gun arm up, pulled Linda away, simultaneously delivered an elbow strike to Marcus. Marcus fell to the ground. The gun flew from his hand. Within 3 minutes, all 3 hostiles had been neutralized. Civilians safe, situation contained. Police sirens were approaching. David gave a status report over the radio. "Phantom to control, all hostiles down, civilians secure, no casualties." 10 minutes later, the SWAT team arrived. The team leader recognized David. "Phantom, you've been missing for 5 years. In retirement, Captain. I'm running a coffee business." "Hell of a thing. You still got it." David smiled. Apparently, the customers were in shock. Sarah, Mike, Linda were looking at David as if seeing him for the first time. "David," Linda said, Were you a police officer?" "SWAT team," David said. 18 years. But now, I'm a coffee maker." "Why didn't you tell us?" David thought. "Because that life is behind me. I'm here now, with you, making coffee. This is my identity." Mike looked amazed. But you still have the skills." "Skills never go away, Mike. You just use them for a different purpose." The coffee shop closed early that day. But the next morning, David opened again at 7. Same routine, same smile, same perfect espresso. The customers came but now looked at David differently. Not just as a barista, but as a protector. "David," Sarah said, "I see you differently now." "I'm the same David, Sarah. You just saw the complete picture." Linda came with baby Emma. "David, you're our guardian angel." David smiled. "I'm just a coffee maker, Linda. But protecting my customers is part of the job description." That night, David looked at his old SWAT gear in the back office. For 5 years, he'd tried to forget that life, but he realized he had never actually forgotten it. He had just applied it differently. Before, he protected the city, stopped criminals, ensured justice. Now he protected his community, created a safe space, served happiness. Both were service work. Both were important. Both were David Miller. At Morning Brew Coffee, there's no longer just a barista. There's a guardian. Someone who makes both perfect lattes and provides perfect protection. David's story is also the story of thousands of retired law enforcement officers. They're working different careers, but their skills are still sharp, still ready for their communities. Do you know people like David? Those who make coffee, manage stores, but did very different jobs in the past? Show them respect. Appreciate them, because sometimes the most peaceful jobs are done by the most skilled warriors. And David Miller shows us that protection never ends. It just changes form. If this story touched you, please share it. Don't forget hidden guardians like David, because they're there for us every day, quietly, standing ready. The next time you order coffee from your local shop, remember David's story. That person behind the counter, steaming milk and grinding beans, might have once served on the front lines of law enforcement, protecting streets and saving lives. David spent 18 years running toward danger so others could run away from it. Then 5 years creating a place where people could feel safe and comfortable. Both were acts of service. Both protected what matters. The right to feel secure, to enjoy simple pleasures, to live without fear. In a world that often overlooks the contributions of service workers, David's story reminds us that everyone has a story. Everyone has value. And everyone deserves respect regardless of their current job title. David David Miller chose to trade his tactical gear for an apron, his radio for an espresso machine, his high-stakes operations for high-quality coffee. But he never stopped being a protector. He just found a different way to serve. Every story is earned, not given, and every person serving others, whether with specialized law enforcement skills or simple human kindness, has earned our gratitude and respect.